Hello, I'm Forrester and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be reviewing the Star Citizen ship, the Aegis Hammerhead. Star Citizen is currently in public alpha test with the Hammerhead as one of the flyable ships. This is my 5th ship review and I wanted to say thank you to all those who have liked, subscribed and left such positive comments. It's really encouraging for me to know that you're enjoying these videos and I really appreciate it. The Hammerhead is billed as a large multi-crew gunship, one which you could bring a group of friends along with you. As a combat escort ship, the Hammerhead is almost exclusively designed with combat in mind. I've split this review into 5 sections, starting with a ship tour and deck flow, assessing combat performance, reviewing handling and visibility, looking at the operating and purchasing costs, and finally summarising. I've included timestamps in the video description to help navigate to each part of the review. Part 1. Ship Tour and Deck Layout. In theory, the Hammerhead is split across 3 decks, although in reality it feels more like a single deck ship. The bridge and cockpit combination is barely mentionable as a deck, and the upper deck consisting of the mess hall and engineering is more like 2 rooms above the ship. Accordingly, the Hammerhead has a very simple flow and is easy to navigate. Also notable is the lack of windows, which give the Hammerhead a very safe, secure, almost tank-like feel. There are 4 access points to the ship, a cargo lift at the rear, 2 crew elevators near the front, and an enclosed airlock at the front. I'll start the tour as if entering via the airlock. From the airlock at the front of the ship, we're taken to a room which is an airlocked room with a number of locations for storing EVA suits. Moving through the second airlock leads to a lobby area at the front of the ship. Notable in this area are the hydraulic clamps, which are definitely not for supporting any kind of ramming manoeuvre, and a door leading to the forward port and starboard turrets. There's also a door at this lobby which leads to the bridge. There's an elevator as well as ladder access down into the cockpit. The cockpit itself consists of a left-hand pilot chair and a right-hand co-pilot chair. Taking the lift access back up to the main lobby. Flanking either side of this lobby are 2 symmetrical corridors which move further back behind the ship. There are windows on either side which give very limited visibility. The elevator on each side leads down to the surface but is not airlocked. Moving to the middle of the ship, there is a second lobby area. There is signage to guide to the bridge and to the cargo engine room. Flanking either side of this area is a door leading to the mid-turrets, port and starboard, as well as escape pods. In the centre is a door leading to the turret on the top of the ship, in the middle. There's an elevator which leads to the upper deck, as well as the captain's quarters. Captain's quarters has a nice bookshelf, a desk, as well as a glass cabinet for storing memorabilia. Off the side of the captain's quarters is the captain's bunk, along with lockers, as well as the captain's bathroom. Moving off the side of the mid is a component access room on either side. Although the components are slightly different, each has an engineer's station which can be used to support power, comms, etc. And adjoining them both is the crew berths. The crew quarters has 8 beds in total, as well as 2 anterooms, one of which contains toilets, and the other containing showers. Additionally, each berth has a selection of lockers. The padded walls are a nice touch. Moving all the way to the rear of the ship on the main deck is to the cargo room / engine room. There's a very neat engine effect. At the rear of engineering is the lift to rear turret, aft turret. This bay does deploy at the rear of the ship, making it possible to load small rovers. At the front of the engineering section is more storage for EVA suits, as well as a lift and a ladder which lead up to the engineering compartment. This is a nice setup of a glass overwatch position, as well as an additional engineer station. From the rear of this upper deck, there are components, and the main feature, the crew mess hall. This room is a nice touch with a table in the middle flanked by some benches, as well as a cafeteria type setup. There's also a supply room attached which cannot be used to store cargo. One of the few windows located on the Hammerhead is in this room. Finally, moving to the front of the top deck takes through to the elevator through to the lower deck. And I'll conclude this section of the review by adding that any current Star Citizen backer can tour the Hammerhead themselves by travelling to Lorville and hopping aboard the showroom at New Deal. Part 2. Combat Performance. The Hammerhead is first and foremost made for combat, and for a platform designed for fighting, the Hammerhead does not disappoint. She's armed with 6 turrets for a total of 24 size 4 weapons and 32 size 3 missiles. The turret coverage is really good, with 2 turrets on each side of the ship, plus 1 ventral and 1 dorsal turret. The stock weapons are Rhino laser repeaters, although I've upgraded mine to Revenant ballistic Gatling guns to be even more obscene. The shields don't let the ship down, able to soak up a lot of damage even without any upgrades, and even the hull of the Hammerhead feels bulky. In a lot of missions I've scored ram kills from the pilot seat. From within the turrets, coverage is very good. In particular, the 4 side-mounted turrets have an incredible field of view, and the fire rate with the repeaters is fantastic. The revenants from every turret would give the Hammerhead 520 rounds per second, with the stock laser cannons not far behind. Part 3. Handling and visibility. From the bridge, visibility takes a lot of getting used to. That's because the bridge is mounted underneath the nose of the Hammerhead, meaning you're almost always looking down rather than looking up. Conceptually, I love the idea, and I think it would work very well for atmospheric dropships or similar. However, it's very difficult for the pilot to get a good feel for obstacles that are sometimes directly in front of the Hammerhead. I find myself initially entering combat situations in a constant roll just to spot any obstacles or asteroids that I may be likely to hit, and the constant roll gives the gunners a bigger challenge in what should be a stable platform. That said, visibility to the sides and below is generally good. It's incredibly easy to land the Hammerhead with that low-mounted bridge. One thing to be careful of when landing in a hangar, air traffic control will often give you a bay that you technically fit in, but don't take into account that the turrets extend from the body. So if you have gunners, be sure to get them to power down and leave the turrets before landing in a hangar. Handling-wise, the Hammerhead is good. I temper that with the fact that this is still a big ship, so inevitably carries some inertia, but the pitch, yaw, and roll rates are all incredibly strong for a ship this size, which makes it very difficult for any fighter-sized craft to try and find any kind of blind spot. Given the Hammerhead's role as an anti-fighter platform, that's a real positive. Combined with a strong top speed and reasonably good acceleration and deceleration, I'd almost go so far as to say that the Hammerhead is a fast ship. Things change a little during atmospheric flight, where the size and shape of the Hammerhead is more noticeable. That said, even in atmosphere, the Hammerhead is quite comfortable to operate. One point to note is the lack of a meaningful docking mechanism. Although there is an airlock at the front of the Hammerhead, the shape and form of it doesn't give a meaningful docking platform in its current iteration, which may become a challenge in the future when ship-to-ship docking is introduced. Part 4. Operating costs. Unless I've missed something glaringly obvious, operating the Hammerhead is not going to make you rich. But critically, it's not going to break the bank either. The Hammerhead consumes hydrogen and quantum fuel at a moderate rate, so if you're away from port for a while, costs can rack up. However, this cost can be offset by running more profitable combat missions, which the Hammerhead can more than handle. Even spreading the income amongst 7 crew members, the pilot can afford to repair and refuel and break even. That doesn't sound particularly exciting for profit mongers, but it makes running the Hammerhead a very viable and sustainable option for medium-sized groups who just want to go out and have some fun with turret combat. Moreover, it gives me some hope that as a large cargo ship is introduced, the Hammerhead may become a sought-after escort ship, which is the role the ship is designed to undertake. There is a limited amount of cargo storage at 40 STU in the rear. It's possible to run cargo runs profitably, particularly if sticking to the high-risk return items, but assuming any kind of profit sharing with the crew, and it's a very expensive platform for running cargo when a Cutlass Black or a Freelancer would do a better job for the capacity. One notable upgrade required is the quantum drive. Similarly to the Constellation, the stock quantum drive is very slow. Thankfully, the drive can be easily swapped out for a TS2 or Pontis drive for a modest UEC cost, which makes the Hammerhead far more responsive. Part 5. The verdict. The Hammerhead comes in at $725, which for a pledge is a lot to spend. The Hammerhead is purchasable in-game for 12.5 million Alpha UEC, which is also steep for a single player. However, breaking that down for a group of 7 at less than 2 million UEC each would be a very manageable goal. Is it worth it? For a group who want to go out and enjoy combat, I'd actually say yes, it is. The type of combat that the Hammerhead excels at, getting into a fight and firing all around at smaller targets, it's a really fun experience for a group. The Hammerhead also gives me a degree of optimism for multi-crew capital ships in the future. Even without some of the anticipated multi-crew bridge stations in operation, turret gameplay can be quite satisfying in a big, tanky ship. And crewing the Hammerhead shows me some of the potential even before further gameplay improvements are released. I hope you found the ship review useful, and if you enjoyed the video, please press the like button and subscribe to be notified of future content. Please also share any of your own thoughts on the Hamsterhead in the comments. Thank you to my Star Citizen organisation, the United Space Confederation, for helping me to crew this mammoth, and I've shared their details in the video description. And finally, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll hear from me in the next video.